My 34 male wife's 30 best friend 30 female is staying with us through the weekend to help set up our gender reveal for our soon-to-be baby. I tend to keep my distance from my wife's friend because she tends to have a strong opinion and knowledge about everything. She's a great person, but my reserved personality doesn't tend to mesh well with her fiery Italian persona. Yes, pun intended. Anyway, last night we were cooking dinner and we're going to fry some salmon in our stainless steel pan. Just as I'm getting everything ready, she tells my wife and me about a TikTok she saw last week about how to prevent things from sticking to a stainless steel pan. Apparently, if you toss a few drops of water and they dance around for over a few seconds, it's not hot enough. I humour her and decide to step aside since she's keen on taking over. Fast forward 10 minutes later, with the heat as high as possible and the water is still dancing. Heat vapour is visibly coming off the pan. I swear to you, the pan has never been hotter. I keep my mouth shut. Finally, she decides it's probably hot enough and proceeds to pour oil into the pan. As I expected, almost instantly the pan is an absolute inferno. Flames are shooting up, engulfing our microwave and edging towards our cabinets. My wife screams and runs into our garage to get a fire extinguisher. It took her about 20 to 30 seconds to find it, and by the time she ran back into the door, the oil had burnt itself out. My wife and friend are in shock, screaming, panic mode, and I'm just sitting there trying not to lose my cool. Our microwave handle is melted, and the bottom of the microwave has clear damage and melting around it as well. It might still work, but I wouldn't even be comfortable trying. I was visibly upset and told her she'll have to pay half the cost for us to replace the microwave. I should have said the full cost. I also said that she should just let me cook the meal as I'd planned instead of forcefully taking over. She said she just wanted to teach me something, of course, and that it was a total accident she shouldn't have to pay for. When she said that, I calmed myself down since I knew I wouldn't be able to reason with her. I told her that my wife and I would chat about it and that we could talk about it tomorrow. Not sure where to go from here. My wife is stuck in the middle and not sure if we should expect her to help pay for the damage or just move on and call it an accident. Am I the idiot for assuming she should help contribute to the damage? So, you were just sitting there trying not to lose my cool while your kitchen is on fire? Instead, you stood by while your pregnant wife had to retrieve the fire extinguisher from the garage. That 20 or 30 seconds could make the difference between having a home or a pile of smothering ashes. You're at fault for standing by doing nothing and not having a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. You were willing to risk burning down your entire house to prove a point. Be glad you only need to buy a new microwave. Exactly what is wrong with you? You are the idiot. You didn't even try to stop someone from doing something that you knew would start a fire in your home. Yeah, she should pay for at least half the microwave, but you are absolutely missing the forest for the trees here. You would not be having this argument if this fire had gotten out of control, or your pregnant wife, you, or the friend had gotten seriously burned. My goodness, nothing good comes from gender reveals. That wasn't an accident. An accident is when something unforeseen happens. Dude, you 100% watched her do this so she would mess up, and you could play I told you so because you're tired of her running her mouth about everything. She should pay all of it personally but go with half because you were watching this entire time. Kind of everyone's the idiot here. Well, at 30 years old, I would assume that the person wouldn't be that stupid and know how to heat up a pan, so I don't think the couple should be held responsible. She shouldn't be trying out things she saw on TikTok if she doesn't know or understand how they work either, especially since she's already a grown woman. That your wife's friend thinks it's normal to preheat a pan like that is insane. She should absolutely pay for the damage she did. I agree. My wife is stuck in the middle. Really? Her friend caused an actual fire. There's no middle, no black or white. There's only she needs to pay for the damage she's responsible for. Not the idiot and get her to pay for the full cost. You are not responsible for her stupid actions. I, 34 female, am the manager of a small resale store. Today is my day off, but I went into the store to make sure everything was set to run smoothly as we have 2 new hires. When I arrived, my friend, employee Kate, 21 female, was in the back showing the other workers some chocolate she got from her boyfriend. They were apparently some fancy gourmet dark chocolate truffles in a little box, and she was showing off the last one. She said she'd eaten the others since they come in last Friday, a late second Valentine's Day gift apparently, and meant to eat the last one last night but had forgotten. Here's where the issue arises. I asked Kate if I could try it. She looked surprised by the question and took a minute before she answered it. Finally, she told me I could buy some on the website and that she had the little pamphlet with the box showing all the flavours available. She asked if I'd like it and I told her yes, but I'd like to try the chocolate to see if it was good. She said her boyfriend got them for her and she didn't think giving her gift to someone else would be right. I laughed and told her in a light-hearted tone that if she wanted to be stingy, she could just say that. A couple of the others laughed, but I guess Kate didn't find it funny. She just stood there and didn't say anything. Unlike her, she's very talkative and bubbly. She ended up closing the box of chocolates and said something about forgetting to do something and left the room. I ended up leaving the building about 20 minutes later, and then another hour later I got a text from my assistant manager, Marla, 47 female, saying Kate asked to leave early because she didn't feel well. I approved through my district manager for her to go since we were staffed well enough for what would probably be a slow day. I asked her to pass along to Kate that if she leaves, I'd like her to make up for those hours sometime in the next week. Otherwise, she's good to go. I tried asking Marla what was wrong, but all she knew to tell me was that Kate wasn't feeling well, as she said. She proposed it could have something to do with what I said earlier, though, as she'd allegedly been quiet since then. So now I'm just wondering, am I the idiot, or an idiot at all? Edit. Also, just to clarify, I was only asking for part of the truffle, not the whole thing. I only wanted a nibble. So, you came in on your day off, wanted to chew on your employee's last Valentine's Day truffle and then give it back to her, and need to hear from strangers on the internet whether you're the idiot. Holy entitlement, Batman, you are the idiot. You asked her for her last chocolate, and she even tried to tell you where it was bought, but you still insisted on having hers. That's very tone-deaf, very weird, and impolite. Maybe if she still had a lot of them, it would be okay, but the normal thing to do is wait for the person to offer. If they don't offer, don't ask. A nibble. What kind of truffle is this where a nibble isn't a sizable chunk of it? Are you sure you're in your 30s? I hope your company has an HR department so she can report you. You tried to use your position over her, to shame her, and force her into giving you something that was hers. You need to be written up for intimidation of a subordinate. I'm trying to understand how you don't see yourself coming off as an idiot after asking someone else for the last piece of their gift. If you want to try the chocolates, buy the damn box, and if you don't like them, give it to someone else. The light-hearted comments were also unnecessary. She said it was a gift and even suggested you get some yourself. That should have sufficed as an answer. Also, I think it's evident that she's your employee, not your friend. Wow. Just wow. I, 28 male, wasn't thinking, and I moved out from my mom's and in with this girl and immediately got her, 26, pregnant after just 6 months of dating her. She's 13 weeks. I never asked her to end it and she never suggested it. We've always gone 50-50 on everything and she's holding up her end, but I'm so broke right now I'm barely bringing home $1,000 a month and struggling to even pay my half. She's been on her own a lot longer than I have, and she makes $50,000 a year. I'm trying to find something full-time, but I don't have much experience. It's all bringing me into depression. She's always angry with me, but I know it's not her fault. My mom keeps suggesting I move back in with her, just me, save up, and then get a place for all of us when the baby is a few months old. I would love that. The problem is this girl doesn't have any family in the state, so she's threatening that if I ditch her while she's pregnant, that she'll be forced to move out of state and we'll never have a chance of getting back together. I will lose access to my child forever and she will put me on child support. I always envision my child having a 2-parent household, which kills me. Am I the idiot for wanting to get us into a better position? Plus, she was on her own before. You're 28 years old, don't have much job experience, have no full-time job, and got your girlfriend pregnant. The time for good life choices has passed. Now she holds all the cards in your life. You should ask her what you can or should do. Driving a wedge between you and your soon child would be yet another in a long list of bad decisions. You are the idiot. I'm hoping OP goes home to his mommy and his soon-to-be ex returns to her family. Nothing spells mature adults like retreating from adult responsibility under a mom's roof when you have a child on the way. This girl makes $50,000 a year at 26 years old. She can do just fine by herself and provide that kid with a good life. She needs to return to her family where she can get support and forget about this loser. Yeah, if I were her, I'd probably go it alone, with the assumption that I'd be raising 2 kids otherwise. You want to ditch your pregnant girlfriend to save money? You're asking her to endure all the discomforts of late pregnancy alone, recover from labour alone, handle all the sleepless nights in the newborn phase alone, etc. It's really hard. Yes, she was alone before, but she wasn't pregnant with your child. That changes everything. You're 28, not 18. Step up and be a present father to the child you've created. Time to get multiple part-time jobs until you can find a full-time one. But you don't understand. His mummy told him to move back home. OP, you calling the future mom of your kid this girl already puts you into the idiot category. Everything else is just a bonus. My wife, 29, and I, male 32, just had a son last week and we're overjoyed. We already have 2 daughters and we're really hoping for a son as we plan for this to be our last child. It's been a long-standing tradition in my family to wait and share the name of the baby with the family when they're born, but we've all thrown around names that we like during casual conversation. During a conversation about a year ago, my wife and I mentioned that we liked the name Tyson, using a fake hair for a boy. My sister-in-law and brother were like, wow, I actually really like that name too. We thought nothing of it and just thought it was some validation that they generally liked a name that we potentially had in mind. Flash forward to the end of December, my brother and his wife welcomed a baby boy and decided to name him Tyson, just 2 months before our son was due. My wife and I were really hurt to hear this initially and weren't sure what to do. We thought about changing our son's name, but ultimately we felt like he already had his name even before he was born. Not to mention we'd already purchased signs, clothes, and all kinds of things that had his name printed engraved. We stuck to our guns and last week announced the name of our new son to our family that we'd also named our son Tyson. Unfortunately, this didn't go over well and it still isn't going well. My sister-in-law and brother are outraged, saying it isn't right that we used the same name if they'd already used it first. We told them we had our minds made up on the name even before we got pregnant, but they just couldn't seem to accept it. They're the only ones who haven't met him yet and say they're waiting to meet him in 2 weeks on my birthday, which is the next family get-together. My parents and other siblings are also acting weird about the whole thing, and it's been incredibly awkward introducing him to them in person. It just doesn't feel right, and it's not like they're trying to make us feel crazy, but now we do. Ultimately, I feel like it's just a name, but did we cause a lifetime of awkwardness for our son and nephew? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. My wife and I mentioned that we liked the name Tyson for a boy. They knew you had a name already. They tried to use their kid being born first to claim it. Did they expect you to say screw it? You called dibs. You, as parents, have the choice to name your child just like they do. If they don't like it, it's their problem. You don't own the name, but neither do they. Kids are cousins, they don't live together, so having the same name shouldn't impact their daily lives. Perhaps it may be confusing for them as small children at the first few family gatherings, but kids are smart. You can easily explain they're both named Tyson and they'll learn. I'm sure everyone will eventually just use nicknames anyways. Wait till the brother learns there are about 40,000 people named Tyson in the US. You are the idiot. You didn't outright say, we're naming the baby Tyson. You said it was one you were considering. And you also said that you mentioned several names during this time. Were they just supposed to not use any of the names you mentioned? It would be one thing if you were clear that was the name you were going to use, but you chose to be secretive and then got mad that your brother and sister-in-law aren't mind readers and chose to still use the name despite them already naming their child that name. And you didn't bring it up after the birth of their child. You waited and surprised them by naming your child the same thing. As a gift to my wife, I let her renovate the ensuite in our room. This is our forever home and we are making everything suit us. One of our kids finally moved out, so we expanded the bathroom to include that floor space. So we now have a big 2-person tub, a shower, a freaky Japanese toilet, and a sauna. We also have a nice new countertop with individual sinks for each of us. Here lies the issue. I gave her free rein to design the bathroom however she wanted. She got these fancy faucets that drop water on my hands from a foot up, and they don't stick out very far from the edge of the sink. No matter how I try using them, I always spray water everywhere, so I have to clean the counter every time I wash my hands. I found a cool little gadget at the hardware store. It threads onto the faucet, and you get a little swiveling arm about 4 inches long. You can use it to bring the water away from the edge or lower it. You can even flip the end upside down and use it as a water fountain. We had people over and she was showing off the bathroom. Everyone thought it was very nice. All the men commented on the addition I installed. They all think it's smart. My wife says that I embarrassed her by installing a cheap plastic trinket in the bathroom. She said I'm an idiot to spend all that money on a bathroom and not have it be beautiful. I told her why I thought they were a bad idea before she purchased the faucets. She bought them anyway. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. A bathroom needs to be functional first. The beauty of it is pretty irrelevant. If she wants to flex her new bathroom in front of her friends, she can always uninstall the trinket before inviting people over. Does she have an alternate solution that addresses the issue and that she's happy with? If not, she would do well to get over this. I'm so confused about how this one very functional device is embarrassing. She should have just said this was his idea, rolled her eyes, and then winked at you because she knew the thing was there beforehand and didn't bring it up. So she must not have been that mad about it, lol, unless she didn't know. But still, seems like a weird overreaction. She was angry that the other people complimented it. If it had been her idea, she would have said nothing. This craze about the perfect bathroom and aesthetic and yada yada drives me crazy. In a house, things need to be safe and practical. Beauty comes after unless you're an eccentric millionaire that can do what you want financially, and it still needs to be safe. My parents bought a faucet for their new bathroom because it looked really nice, and my mom loved it. After 3 weeks they brought a new one because, guess what? It wasn't practical at all.